Hi guys, and welcome back to the Black Consciousness Movement channel. Now the TRAORE Army. Obviously we didn't rename the channel, but we just added that on because we are just so impressed by what this young amazing president is doing all over the continent, I would say, even though he's doing things in his own country, because it's encouraging other presidents in other part of the continents. We are obviously saying that he is changing things in the continent. So without wasting any time, today we are going to discuss three different topics. Well, not topics per se, but like we're just touching on points, because remember our channel, we don't want to go more than 15 minutes in a video. So today we are going to actually look at what the French president said about Africans when he realized he was kicked out of some of these countries. And I think I love this thing of the West trying to act like, oh no, they actually have decided to go out. It's not like they don't want to admit that they have been kicked out, but they have been kicked out, okay? We know that. Anyway, so we're gonna look at that. We're also gonna look at what other presidents actually kind of commented on what he said about Africans in that sense. And also we're gonna look at the agreement between the Ghanaian president, who was just sworn in quite recently, maybe a week ago, with Ibrahim Traore. We're also gonna look at like just things that this president is doing in his own country. I am so proud to be African right now. Yes, sometimes, you know what they do? They blame our presidents, they blame our leaders, saying that, oh no, they are very corrupt. And I'm not saying that our leaders are not doing things that are corrupt in that sense, but so are Western leaders. Western leaders are equally corrupt. It's only because theirs are sugar-coated in other things. So without wasting any time, welcome back to the BCM. Welcome back, and without wasting any time, I'm gonna go ahead and let you watch the video about what the French president says about Africans and being ungrateful. So go ahead and listen to that.
One part was our commitment to fighting terrorism since 2013. We were right. I think some have forgotten to say thank you, but that's okay. It'll come in time. I'm in a good position to know that ingratitude is a disease that cannot be transmitted to humans. But I say this for all the African governments who have not had the courage, in the eyes of their public opinion, to bear it. None of them would be in a sovereign country today if the French army had not been deployed in this region.
So I don't know what you guys think about it, but I'm gonna actually play two other videos or three about what the different presidents commented on that. But before that, I'm just gonna use my own, because when I actually heard that, I thought I misunderstood it. So I was surprised that I think two more presidents agree with me on what he really meant. Because sometimes they say things, and when they realize they got caught in the deed, they actually come back and say, oh no, I didn't mean that. Because there was this other video that I want to play for you before I even comment on that, where the French president actually humiliated a president, like it's an elderly man even. He actually ended up running out of the meeting, where he was talking about, like, honestly speaking, I felt so embarrassed. Honestly, like, you don't do that to other humans, like, seriously. I feel that's why he's going down. Like, so many things are going kind of not that well with I think their country right now. And yeah, so first of all, let me play that when he was humiliating this other president. Look at what he says about him. And then out of the blue, he came back and apparently he was just joking. Like, can you not take a joke? Come on, Africans, learn to take a joke, okay? Look at that.
Video of French President Emmanuel Macron publicly racially abusing and embarrassing former Burkina Faso President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore has resurfaced and is going viral. In this video from 2017, French President Macron publicly embarrassed the president of Burkina Faso. following which the latter left the hall. When one of the Burkinabe students asked President Macron a question about Burkina Faso's constant power cuts, this is what the French president had to say.
You speak to me as if France was still a colonial power, but I do not want to take care of electricity problems in the universities of Burkina Faso.
Macron would shamelessly tell French media that it was just a joke and that some Africans need to have thicker skins. After being publicly disrespected by President Macron, President Kabore went on to lose respect throughout the country and was portrayed as an obedient French puppet. These sentiments contributed to his removal in 2022 in a peaceful coup. Burkina Faso is now led by a young Pan-African army captain, Ibrahim Traore, who spearheaded the latest coup and was named interim president until elections are held in July 2024.
So can you see? So then he came back and he wanted to sugarcoat it like it's a joke, but come on, you don't joke like that with things that you can come to me if I'm hungry and you're joking with hunger. Like, that's not a joke. That's like an expensive joke, if I have to say that. Anyway, so yeah, so for me, what he said, I'm going back to what he said about Africans being ungrateful, and that ungratefulness is something that can only be kind of associated with animals in that sense. It can be transferred to humans. What other explanation can you really say there? Like, there is no sugarcoating there. It's not transferable to humans, yet Africans, it actually transferable to Africans in that sense, because you're saying that they are ungrateful. And so I don't think this is not clear. I think this is very clear. He was plainly saying that Africans are not humans. Like, for me, that's a straightforward thing. You can insult my intelligence like that and think that I misunderstood you, right? Like, what do you guys think? Comment and let me know what you think. But now I'm going to put some few videos or some few clips about what some of the African leaders, commented on it and so on. I think Burkina Faso, Traore commended, and I think the president of Niger, and I think the president of Mali as well, and Chad, and I don't know whether the president of Senegal also commended, but I'm going to put them all here. So let's take a look at that.
There's a part that caught my attention where he was talking about ingratitude.
Ingratitude, I know this well, is a non-communicable disease to humans.
He is human. Our ingratitude is not transmissible to him. This is how this man sees Africa, sees Africans. We are not humans. In his eyes, I think that if he is not an atheist and he prays, every morning when he wakes up and prays, he should also pray for Africans. Because it is thanks to our ancestors that there is a France today. He should pray for us.
Macron's mental gymnastics are truly world-class, but obviously the African nations were not impressed. Chad and Senegal have called him out. Chad's foreign minister issued a statement. He said Macron holds, and I'm quoting again, a contemptuous attitude towards Africa and Africans. He added that the French presence in Chad has often been limited to its own strategic interests without any real lasting impact for the development of the Chadian people. And then he reminded Macron about how Africans had helped France, especially during the two world wars. That was Chad's rebuke. Senegal's was even sharper. Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko put up this post on social media. He counters Macron's claims, saying that France helped destabilize countries like Libya, which contributed to the Sahel security crisis. And then Sonko issued a parting shot. Let me quote again. This is what he said. This is finally the place to remind President Macron that if African soldiers, sometimes forcibly mobilized, mistreated and ultimately betrayed, had not deployed during the Second World War to defend France, it would perhaps still be Germany today.
So it's very clear that most of the African presidents have taken offense to, well, I shouldn't say most, because we have 54 countries and most of them are quiet, right? Like, it's only 6 that came out. Maybe some of them are also thinking that we don't really care. Come on, you've done that before. We've been there. We don't care anymore. Maybe some of them are saying that. Maybe it's not a keeping quiet of like, oh no, we don't know what you're saying. Maybe it's just like, we don't really care anymore. Like, you've said a lot already. So, okay, so another good, well, those are part of the but I want to share the good plans that, oh my God. And I love this President Traore, the way he speaks. It's, you know, like it's just so, the words that he speaks, and he doesn't read out of a paper. He doesn't read out of a script. He says things that he means out of his heart, you know. So they were discussing what, you know, the agreement between them and Ghana. And I actually overheard from somebody that apparently, because they are not part of ECOWAS, remember they moved out of that, they, you know, and I was hearing that apparently because of that, they would not be able to do business with countries that are part of ECOWAS. Because one of the things that I've seen, and I can see it happening already, is that I think I overheard Trump, or I saw news, I don't know whether it's fake news or not, but Trump was actually trying to put, I think, and I think people are getting tired of that nonsense. Like, okay, if we do this, we want to do something better for our country, you're going to put sanctions. Yeah. So I think, you know, he was saying that he's going to put sanctions on the BRICS country. I think, you know, the BRICS, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Russia, and all those countries. And then he also said that he's going to put sanctions on Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. What did they do? They just kick French out because they don't feel safe with French. And this is the thing. Let me explain to you what's going on. Let me show that clip. I'm not quite sure because remember, this is not a news channel, but we are kind of taking things from information that we get just to make sure, because if you follow the mainstream media, you're not gonna be enlightened, because they are really trying to create a narrative that fits, you know, they want to get news out that fits their narrative. So if you don't have independent news channels that you watch, like I watch Candace Owens, I watch Tucker Carlson, I listen to a few more because I just feel, and I also listen to this guy Jeffrey Sanch. I think I'm going to talk about him as well and share some videos about, you know, what he said and so on. But if you are not careful, you're going to be sold news that is not relevant to like what's going on. Okay, sorry about that, there was a little bit of a disturbance there. So we are back online. So okay, so what I was explaining was that you know, based, as I said, you need to have independent channels, news channels that you watch, because the mainstream media will let you believe that, you know, all this narrative that they want you guys to believe about not only Africa, but even like Asia, you know, and all those places, and even China. Like, honestly speaking, China has been attacked for the past, like, I don't know, like everything China is, you know, it's almost like, for example, even when China is like, you know, like trying to, well, I wouldn't say help Africa, but trying to have relationship with Africa, everybody's so anti-China that, oh no, China want to colonize Africa. Well, you guys have colonized us, so what's the problem if China does that? Like, yeah, anyway, so what happened, what I wanted to explain is that, okay, so France will have like the military in these countries, because apparently these countries are being attacked by terrorists. They're struggling with terrorism and so on. But what this country found out actually, and I'm going to put a video of Dr. Arikana, she's explaining it so well, is that they actually create that problem. They actually sponsor those terrorists in the name of like, you know, so that they can actually come and offer the assistance that you need, because now, because you have a lot of terrorists roaming around in your country, obviously now you need their military assistance because you don't have. And what Dr. Arikana explained is very scary, because she said that for 3 soldiers, they only have 1 gun, but guess what? The terrorist has enough ammunition. They have guns, you know. So who is giving them all these guns? And if the French military is actually, you know, kind of helping them, why are they still, why, and how is it possible that in order for you to actually have guns to protect yourself, you actually have to make an application, as Dr. Arikana said, make an application for it to be approved, which apparently 9 out of 10 doesn't even get approved to begin with. So this is like a horrible situation, and I think the problem is also because it's just because they still want Africans to be under them. They want Africans to be called that we need their help and all that. And I think this is a problem, as I think Traore say, You call us poor, you say you are poor, yet when we ask you that, okay, leave us poor people alone and go back to your country, you are angry at us. Now, there has been an assassination attempts on this guy for like maybe 18 assassination attempts, you know, to assassinate TRAORE. So, and you're wondering, why do they want to do that? And this is a problem that I have with democracy, guys. You know, when they say democracy, it's only democratic if they decide who should be your leader. Because these people, as I'm going to put a video here of, his name is Dr. Jeffrey Sanch, where he actually explained how the West will eliminate an elected democratic leader to actually choose their own leader, whom they obviously going to control when it comes to resources and all that. And this is what they have been doing to African countries for the most part. And that's why when this country resists, now they put sanction unnecessary. You know what? We are waking up, and they wanted to do the same with Russia, didn't they? But guess what? Russia didn't feel a thing. So eventually, God will help African countries to awaken, regardless of them putting sanctions, them wanting to bully us to not, be awakened and so on. So with this, I'm closing because I have to go to school, and tomorrow I'm flying. I'm going on vacation. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and push that notification button so that you are not being left behind with whatever we have to offer on this channel. Take care from me, Jehovah. Bye.